guys, I think I'm recording over here. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to try to record this podcast right here on video format. So that way you feel like you're with me and we're having a conversation. So I haven't started the recording yet, but I'm gonna probably minimize this screen and then move over to my podcast itself and just go into it and go through some thoughts. You can kind of see how a lot of times I don't come prepared a lot of times for the podcast itself, because I feel like if it comes from the heart and it comes from the mind, we can really generate some good thoughts and good ideas and really just spit stuff out there. So you might hear a couple bumps in the road or a couple blips in the screen or whatever right here on the video, because I'm not editing this portion. I'm just basically posting it for you guys to see on the YouTube channel, and I'm going to edit the audio that I'm going to record for the podcast itself after I get done recording all of this other stuff. So that's where we're at right now. I did catch up on IGTV. If you haven't had a chance to check it out on at Liquiceno 1973, I shared a little bit of some of the March goals and some of the scheduling changes that we're going to have in March for the podcast and the interviews and the lives that I'm trying to do for the podcast itself. So I shared that with you before I get started here, and I just wanted to be able to catch up with you for you to know that, I appreciate every single one of you guys and all the support that you give. Keep sharing. Do me a favor here. I'm going to share with you here to be able to go to Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to. If you listen to it on Apple, it's great, because then you can scroll right down to the bottom on Apple and be able to leave a rating, 5-star ratings, that you can pick and choose however much of a rating you want to do. But then also on there, you can leave a comment for the podcast and kind of let other people know what the podcast means to you. And so that would really, it would be so appreciated by me. So that way other people can kind of see, oh, let me check that out. I want to go check that podcast out or whatever. So I share that with you because I feel as if you guys are so supportive and can really help me out with that aspect of it too. Okay. So let me go ahead and get things started here with my recording, and we will kick things off and get things moving in the right direction, okay? See you soon. Hey, good morning, folks. Good morning, all you podcasting aficionados and people that are listening to Coffee Talk with Liquiceno 1973. I'm here on a Sunday. This is a Sunday, albeit, and I'm here to be able to celebrate with you guys, to be able to encourage you guys, to be able to lift you up and get you to where you need to be in this journey where you're trying to work at things and trying to be able to just be the best version of you. Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to be able to help you out with that and be able to move forward together, hand in hand, mano y mano, you and I. This is an intimate type of setting where if you're out for a walk or you're out for a run or you're at the gym or you're on the treadmill or you're wherever you are, you've got me in your ears, and I'm here to be able to uplift and help support you in whatever endeavors it is that you are trying to accomplish. So if it's health-related ones, great. You know what? Let's do it together, because I'm also trying to lose weight. I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to live longer. I'm trying to be here for my family. I'm right there with you, side by side, note in note, hand in hand, so that way we can do it together. If it's professional, okay, me too. I'm trying to move up in the company that I work for. I'm trying to be successful. I'm trying to be the best version that I can be and do the things that I have to do. So I'm right there with you, hand in hand, mano y mano. I don't know, maybe that'll be a new t-shirt that I can make. Mano y mano with Coffee Talk with Liquiceno 1973. I'm not sure, but we'll see how that goes. But I am in the process right now, to be honest with you, making some new shirts, some new designs for the podcast to be able to release out to Spreadshirt. And I know that a lot of you have purchased shirts in the past. One of our biggest sellers is our Find Your Strong shirts, where it's in red and white, and basically the colors of In You in Find Your Strong are different colored than what the rest of the visual is or the pattern is on there. And it was such a big seller, and it meant so much, and it was actually designed by my wife, which was amazing. So if you do want to be able to see what those shirt designs look like or what we currently have, I'm going to put a link in the body of the podcast here for you to be able to go see what kind of shirts. They have a lot of different options now, everything from mugs to t-shirts to buttons to bandanas to wicking shirts, all kinds of different things that we actually have. So check it out when you get a chance. If you can click right on it, you can check out exactly what we have to offer. But I got more coming, which is another exciting venture. I've been really putting some thoughts into designing some of the thoughtful thinking that we do here on the podcast, and I want to make sure that I'm bringing you in on the loop on that too. So, okay, so today's Sunday, right? And a lot of times on Sundays we get together and we discuss things, or maybe a Sunday is a day of relaxation. You've had a really, really busy week. You've been flooded with all kinds of stuff you got going on. You got work-related stuff, and the weekend is usually a week or time period to be able to just relax and just breathe a little bit, right? And I know up here in Maine, I don't have the camera showing. I do on the YouTube access, but I don't have the camera showing on the podcast. When I look outside, it's very sunny outside. The temperature's picking up a little bit. It's melting some of the snow, which is a good feeling, right? But a lot of times on Sundays, what happens? We usually get into this space where we think to ourselves, what have we done well this week? What do we have going on this week? Maybe you're working and you got 5 days worth of week coming up, and you're not really looking forward to it as much as you might want to, but you know it's coming. You know you got to get focused. You know you got to get in the right frame of mind to be able to do it. And Sundays are sometimes that ability, gives us that ability to be able to reflect on things and be able to take a look at what's our plan and how are we going to become more focused to be able to move forward and do all the things that we want to do, right? I mean, a lot of times Sundays do act that way for me. So some people go to church and they go to right-size their religious beliefs and get themselves all in tone with what they believe and where they want to go. Some people go to the gym on a Sunday, where naturally or most of the time, not a lot of people are at the gym on a Sunday. So it's a great time for you to get in there and hit the weights or hit the different treadmills or the stair climbers or whatever, with not really having to worry about other people being there, which is a great aspect of a Sunday. So a lot of times Sunday is a way to be able to right size and calibrate and do things the right way. So I love Sundays. So one of the things that I always try to do on a Sunday is I try to give myself a couple topics that I want to think about during the week, or a couple things that I want to be able to incorporate and do. And I've been having a great conversation lately with my buddy Tony Little. If you don't know him, he's like the leader of the Beast Mode. If you're on No Finish Line Nation, you know who this guy is. He has a super Southern draw accent from South Carolina, and he's always, really drawn out. He's a big Clemson fan, all this different stuff. And he always comes out with Beast Mode stuff, and he's lost a whole bunch of weight, and he's ripped up in the muscles, and he's really trying to work towards his goals. And he had Lifetime. He was a Weight Watcher. He did all kinds of different things. That's where I actually met him, is through Weight Watchers. And we've coordinated and calibrated a lot of stuff. And one of the things that he and I have been talking about, we've just kind of sending messages back and forth, and we were just chatting about stuff. And one of the things that we talked about a lot of times is how do we stay consistent to the things that we want to really do, the things that we know work for us, right? So here you are in this journey. You're doing the things you want to do. You want to accomplish the things you want to accomplish. And, you know what you need to do. You know exactly where you need to go and what you need to do. You know what the plan needs to be. You know the dynamic of what kind of restrictions you need on the eating that you want to do, or you know that you've got to book those appointments for the gym for you to be able to go to the gym because you won't go otherwise, or whatever it is. You know exactly what you need to do to be consistent with the things that you want to accomplish. Now, we all know those things. All of us know what we need to do. We know what the formula is. We know what the winning formula can be. But at the same time, we just don't do them. And we get lazy, or we get slower, or we get whatever it is that's happening to us. We start to slack off, and we start to not incorporate some of the things that we really, truly need to incorporate to be successful. Now, why is that? Why do you think that we know what the winning formula is, but we don't do it? Is it human nature? Is it the fact that that's the way we're wired as people, that we sometimes know what the answers to the test is, but we still don't do it because we're lazy? Or is it the way we're wired? Or is it the way that we've been taught, like from childhood all the way up through our adulthood? I mean, like, it's mind-boggling and baffling to me sometimes, because we're sitting back and we're saying to ourselves, I know how to do what I need to do. I know how to be successful. I know how to lose weight. I know how to build muscle. I know how to be successful at work. I know how to do all these things. But at the end of the day, we're just not doing the things that we need to do to stay consistent. We have these pockets of I'm all in, I'm focused, I'm motivated, I'm moving, I'm grooving, I'm doing all this stuff. We have all these little moments of time that we're able to do that. But at the end of the day, do we do that every single day? No, because maybe that's not realistic. Maybe that's not something that we can sustain to be that intense for that length of time, right? So we have ups and downs, and we got a couple break days, or we got some things that we want to be able to do. But the key to it is how do we stay consistent with continuing to go back to doing what we do know? It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to take vacations. It's okay to take time off. It's okay to do those things. But what happens a lot of times is after those things happen and after those breaks and vacations and whatever happen, we go back to doing the old things that we were doing before we were successful. And then we slide. And then we create that consistency of bad habits, or we forget those things that we want to do. We have like this really quick way of being able to forget in our minds of exactly what it was that we knew what we needed to do, but we didn't do. And it creates that downward spiral. It creates that slide that goes into the fact that I know what I need to do. I didn't do it for a little bit. It feels good to not have to focus on that. So I'm just going to continue to go down. I'll kind of be half-ass focused, right? I'll kind of be somewhat, maybe I won't count this, or I won't look at those calories, or I won't go keto in this direction, but I'll be kind of, sort of, and whatever else. Then we see the scale start to go up, and then we get frustrated, and then we're looking at it going, look where I am right now. How did I get to this point? And then we question ourselves, and then we doubt ourselves, and then we think to ourselves, did I really know what the winning formula was? Listen, I'm opening up this dialogue with you because I feel like this is a crack into my brain. If you literally were to crack it open and you were to go and listen to all of the little voices that are up there, the little monkeys that are floating around, you would hear the exact conversation that I'm having with you right now with myself. I would be talking about all these things, the consistencies, the frustrations, the why am I gaining weights, all the stuff. All the things that I'm talking about here are things that I've struggled with all my life, in my adult life, and my weight loss life, my childhood, everything. So one of the things that I read this morning as I was trying to be able to right size, and I was thinking about the consistency piece. And I thought to myself, how can I really lean in on this and learn something new and be able to incorporate something? So one of the things that I read was this neat little phrase that was listed out by John C. Maxwell. Okay, and here's the quote: "Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time." Now, think about that phrase. I'll read it one more time to you, okay? Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. Guys, think about that. How many of us want to be able to do something like a diet or a workout plan or whatever, and we just want it to be there? Snap of a finger, boom, it's there. We're at our result. We're doing all the things we need to do, and now we made it happen. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be fantastic? Wouldn't it be great to be able to carry the magic wand and just kind of poof right over the top of it, and it's done and it's all set, right? But what the quote really leans in on is it's all about small disciplines repeated over and over consistently every day, slowly, will help you achieve the gains that you want to be able to achieve. So there's a couple things you got to layer in here. And I know over the past few podcasts, we've talked a little bit about the whole patience piece. And we talked about being able to wait it out and understand that it takes work and it takes time and it takes effort and it takes money and it takes whatever it is that you're working on. It takes effort to be able to do it. So the time that it takes is not acceptable to a lot of people because we don't want it to take that long. We don't want it to take that long period of time. We want to be able to have what we need right now, experience the things that we have to experience, hit the goals that we have to go to, and then just be right where we need to be. Well, here's the other thing we have to remember. We may not always get to where we want to be. Whoa, right? That's mind-blowing, actually, when you think about it, because we want to shoot for a goal, but there will be times that we get to the point where maybe we have to adjust our goals. We talk about that all the time. We talk about moving the target a little bit to meeting the needs of where you are in this journey and doing the things that you need to do to be successful. So if you have to adjust your goals, then great, let's do that. Let's think about that. But what you have to do is you have to go into it with the right frame of mind that anything worth working for and digging in and sweating and putting in blood, sweat, and tears towards and achieving the things that you want to be able to achieve, you have to get in the right frame of mind that is going to take time. And the other part of that quote is small disciplines repeated with consistency every day. Okay, guys, there's a lot of people. There's another guy that I follow on TikTok and Instagram, and he's a weightlifter. And one of the things he keeps saying is people will send letters going, do I have to work out every day to have the body that I want? And he looks at the camera and he kind of smiles a little bit and he gives a little bit of a smirk and he goes, yes, you do. You do. It doesn't have to be full bore, like I'm going all out with 300 pounds of trying to lift and do crazy stuff. But you've got to be active and you've got to stay consistent and you've got to keep moving. You can't stop. Don't stop, because if you stop, then that's what starts the downward trend. If you stop, that's what creates complacency. If you stop, that's when you get to a point where you go, oh, this feels kind of good that I don't have to work out and I don't have to think about this. And then that human nature type of feel where we kick into, I just want to be comfortable and I want to be laid back and just do this. Well, then that laziness and that complacency kicks in and then it all goes downhill. And I can almost guarantee that everybody on this YouTube channel and on this podcast right here are literally looking at me going, I've been down that road 1,000 times. I've been down the road where I've been successful and I've gotten to goals where I want to get to. And then all of a sudden life happens and then it all went downhill. And then I gained weight or I wasn't going to my therapy sessions as much as I should, or I wasn't going to the gym as often as I wanted to. And then it started to become not just 2 days off from the gym, but now it's 4 days off from the gym, and now it's only 1 day making it, and now I pay for a subscription to the gym, and I don't even go. So, and I know that a lot of you can relate to exactly what I'm talking about here because you've been down this road right alongside with me. And you know, and I know what the winning formula is. The winning formula is setting goals, being consistent, and staying focused on the goals at hand for you to continue to move forward, adjusting along the way if you need to, if life happens or something happens, but you always want to stay consistent with some form of work towards your goals that you're trying to accomplish. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day. Now, are you willing to do it every single day? That's another question you have to ask yourself. Am I willing to be able to say to myself that I've got to do this every single day? The small disciplines of the things that I want to work on, the small changes that I need to make, I'm willing to do every single day to be able to hit the goals and go towards the things that I want to go towards. Are you willing to do that every day? Because if you're not willing to do it every day, then you really need to take a look at if that goal is something you truly want to accomplish. Or maybe you take a look at it and say, I need to reset that goal into something that I'm really passionate about right now, because that's going to create the consistency of a habit of me being focused every day and doing the things that I have to do every single day. Now, does that make sense? Because it makes sense to me right now when I'm thinking to myself, I'm not where I want to be with my weight loss. I'm not where I want to be with weightlifting or anything like that. And then I say to myself, well, how come? Why aren't I? I've been dieting for a little bit. I've been doing this, that, and the other. I've been, trying to stay consistent, but I'm still gaining weight. I'm still just staying consistent or maintaining and not losing at any rate that I want to or whatever. And then I start to look at all the different things that I'm doing and all those little small disciplines that I know work and the things that I know I can be consistent with and the things that I know that if I did consistently every day, that I would be successful in the outcome. And I know I'm not doing that. And I know that I'm not putting in the work that's necessary for me to be as successful as I want to be. And again, it goes back to that original question, why? Why am I not doing the things that I need to do that I know work for me and I know I can be consistent with? One of the other things that I find myself doing is I make a lot of excuses. I think to myself, okay, well, I'm older now. I'm in my mid 40s. I'm thinking to myself, I'm not the same as what I was when I was in my 20s. I'm not the same as what I was even in my 30s. I can't lose weight as fast as I need to. I got family stuff that goes on. I lost my dad just this last year. I got all kinds of stresses going on in life with finances and bills and credit cards and everything else. I got all this stuff going on, and I can make all these excuses from top to bottom. But the one thing that I know I'm consistent with is that I'm not consistent. I use those as excuses to step away from the things that I know if I grind it out and I work at the things I want to work at, I can accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. But instead, I make excuses for all the things that are going on around me, and it causes me to be able to then justify why I'm not being consistent with all of the small disciplines that I need to repeat daily. Does that make sense? Because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. And on one level, I'm frustrated by the fact that I'm not moving the way I want to move, or I'm not going the direction that I want to go, or I'm not achieving the goals that I want to be able to achieve. But on the other hand, if I really take an honest approach and I really take a true look and drill it down into the finite details of all the behaviors that I need to be able to achieve or exemplify or do whatever, if I'm not doing those, then I'm not going to receive the results. Right? It makes sense. If you don't put in the work ahead of time, it's like an equation. You know how we learned back in the days of math and school and all those things? We always learned around one side has to equal the other for it to be in the right state of mind. So you got to subtract this from that or divide that from that to be able to make sure that each side is equal, or to find out what how you can make them equal is how you are able to work forward and you have this state of equilibrium and everything's good to go. Well, that's exactly what this is. If I'm not putting in the work on the left-hand side of the equation, and I'm not digging into the way that I need to and being as consistency or bring consistency at the way that I need to, or doing whatever it takes for me to be able to do what I need to do on the left-hand side of the equation, what do you think the right-hand side is going to be? For us to be in an equilibrium state, your results are then going to diminish and lower, and it's not going to be good, and you're not going to hit the targets that you want to. So you got to increase the left-hand side to then increase the performance of the right-hand side. Now, I know I'm talking all math and I'm talking all crazy algebraic equations and things like that, but it makes sense to me because I know that if I'm consistent and I'm continuing to go down the road of doing small disciplines and I repeat them with consistency every day, I know it's going to lead to the achievements that I need to reach. And the things that I want to be able to accomplish in life, I can accomplish those if I just stay consistent. So that's the theme of this podcast, guys. Consistency. Right? I mean, how many things are you truly, truly consistent at in your life? There's a couple things I can think of in my life that I'm pretty consistent with. One, I'm always going to be there for my son. Always. My kid, 14 years old, turning 15 soon. A lot of changes are going on in his life. Hormones are kicking in, breaking out, all kinds of different stuff that's going on. It's just a really tough time to be a teenager. And I know I'm there for my son as I was when he was 2, all the way up to 14, as he will be all the way up into his 50s. That's consistency for me, is I'm never going to waver from that. And why do you think that I'm that way with that topic? Why do you think I'm that way? Because I love my son, and I care about my son, and I cherish my son, and I value my son, and I want to give him nothing but the world. You know what else I'm consistent with? My wife. I'm faithful. I'm dedicated. I'm loving. I'm compassionate. I'm all these things, and I'm one of her biggest cheerleaders in the world. And I choose to be that way because I choose to be consistent with her. And why do you think that is? Exactly the same situation as my son. I love her. I value her. I care for her. I all the things that I know that I do naturally with the fact that I choose to be consistent with the actions that I bring to the table every day with my wife and my son is because I'm passionate about it. And I care and I love them. So here's the true question. Consistency with my wife and my son is great. I'm right there. I'm right where I need to be. So why aren't I that consistent with myself? When I look at myself, do I use the same terms that I use about my son and my wife about me? Do I say I love myself? Do I say I'm proud of myself? Do I say I value myself? Do I say that I cherish all the things that I'm trying to bring to the table and I'm an asset to the world and I'm an asset to people around me and everything? Do I say that? Maybe not. I think what I do is I sit back and I go, man, you know what? Maybe I'll belittle myself a little bit here, or I won't think very highly of me on certain things, or I won't think very highly, or whatever happens in the world of where we're at with it. I tend to diminish myself because I don't have the same exact value that I have for my son and my wife, because I want to give to them all the time, but I don't want to give to myself with the same consistency. Because I'm my own worst critic. I'm my own person that I look at myself in the mirror and I might degrade myself or berate myself or talk down to myself or belittle myself or sell myself short on the things that I want to accomplish in life in general. Why would you want to do that or whatever? Ask myself those types of questions when I know if I'm consistent with the people that I love and value, why can't I still be consistent with myself to love and value myself as well? It's something to think about, guys. You know, it's something that I need to think about of where I'm at with this journey and what I'm at with. I'm trying to be able to put one foot in front of the other and do the things that are necessary for me to be successful. So, in closing of the podcast, I'm just going to read the quote to you one more time, and I want you to think about it. Maybe you can write it down. Maybe pause it, rewind it, do whatever you have to do. Here it is by John Maxwell. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. Lean in on that piece. If you can think to yourself, I'm going to be consistent for myself, just like I am for everybody else or every other thing. I need to love myself, value myself, and cherish myself to be able to bring all these things that you know that you need to do, that you know that are the formula for you to be successful, and start to invest in yourself. Consistency with cadence of every single day of you to be able to do all the things that are necessary for you to do, to check off the box investing in you, so that way you can then lead to great achievements over time. Okay? All right, guys, we'll talk soon, and we will see you later. Okay, guys, so you saw it. That's it. That's the podcast, and it's a good one, I think. I think it's a good one. I don't have too much editing to do. So you guys saw the video side of it. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to put this right onto YouTube, and we'll be able to do it from there. Okay? We'll talk soon.